Yeah, we got there involved in that cooking and.
Yeah, we got interrupted by the phone call.
Yeah,
We were
I'm
talking
sorry. I'm sorry.
about the recipe for the chili.
Oh, the recipe of the chili sauce. See, it was chili sauce and the chili for the chili. Beans with the beans, and God, remember, we used to get them beans, and we had to clean the beans and get them 100-pound sacks, and we had to put them on the end of the counter, take the rocks out. We had a colander. Pretty soon, where you put the beans on, the countertop would wear off with varnish. So, well, I tell you, we went through all that. Then peeling garlic, God, we used to sit in three of us would sit, or two of us would sit in a booth, and we put that newspaper on there and start cleaning that garlic. We used a lot of garlic in them days, more than the powder. That powder ain't as strong, and that made a hell of a deal. Well, they pretty soon, hi Gus, hi Sam, hi Pauline. How you doing? We're talking, and they come in just visit. So they sat down and would start peeling too. Well, hell, pretty soon they'd take a bite, maybe, oh, it's strong. Then they put, the thumb, you have to have a certain way with your thumb, with a nail. And we ground that up. It was terrific. That was a good way of cooking.
They still pretty much follow the same traditional recipes?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, we had, Wimmers hit us good 2 years ago with Wimmers out of West Point. They had a terrific weenie. God, we used to get that.
Natural casing weenie?
No, just a regular skinless. They were good. They were from West Point. Then they went. That was years ago. We used to, in the old days, actually, Dad in the old days sold more hot dogs. I remember when we got a garbage can. We got that full. We get the buns from Jesse Bakery. You know, Jesse's Rainbow. They bought the Rainbow with Jesse, and we had to cut the buns. See, we had to get a knife, cut the string, and then you had to cut the buns. So we had to put them right in a big can. You know what I mean? It was storage. That's how we carry, you know. And then you know, the wrapper, we cut that in two, and put it in that drawer, and you'd have a wrap-up, carry-out. We did that for years, and then when they quit making that buns a certain way, we had to get they give us a whole roll of bread wrapper, a big old red fat roll. We have to cut it at the counter. We used that for years until we switched over to the box. Yeah, they used everything, you know.
So ingredients have changed a little bit depending on what's available.
Yeah, that was it, you know. But the idea is that you always, the last 30 years, we always tell them we don't want no soy, and we don't want no protein in it, or the other, that hamburger. We don't need that filler and all that stuff.
Textured vegetable protein.
Yeah, and all that. Just tell them two things. Hearts. Tell them we don't want no hearts. Because the heart, if you ever have hamburger, it would be crusty, you know. It wouldn't. Yeah, hearts and that other thing, soy. They got into that.
Hamburger meat.
Yeah, regular. Yeah. And we always get the 60. I mean the 20/80. We always 70, 75 is still 80/20. 80 meat and 20% fat. Besides, we put that other 6-7 pounds of that suet.
And other items like the French fries and.
Oh yeah, the French fries. We got into that. We used to have a corrugated thing. We cut them by hand, and we have cook them fresh. Then we blanch. Then that got to be pretty big business sometimes. Yeah, we had. Then we get that 12-ounce russet potato, russet Idaho, and you had to cut them with the machine. Then you'd soak them. Then the old days, well, maybe 30, 40 years ago, they had a put in a powder. You could put in a pot where they would remain dry. You put some more pots in the ice box. Then they outlawed that. So, and we went through a few French fryers and all. It's just, I'll tell you what, we did it according to what it was.
a business standpoint, it's your son, George, who's
Yeah.
managing it now, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. He learned all that stuff.
And what do you see the future of the business being like? Is
The
it still
future
as
business,
successful as it's always been?
I keep telling him, I said, George, you got to remember one thing, cuisine. Get some cuisine, you know, that's part of your culture. Cuisine means quality here and quality there, and he don't care to get involved with that cuisine like I do. I did, and small things, you know. And then more days, like I say, we always just, no tickets, give me five on two, that means 5 conies for 2 people, or 4 on 4, 2 without, and then when they come up to pay, you could look at the plates. We did that, we did a hell of a, I like that better than what he does now, you get paper to write it down. But it just you know, I can't, I don't comment him, I ain't been in the place for a year and a half. We talk on the phone all the time, and if I call him on the phone, hey, Dad, the guy wants to talk to you. Then we got stories. This story, that story. That one guy here a few months ago, he said, hey, Gus, yeah. You remember me? I said, yeah, I remember you barely. He said, well, remember we had the golden glove boxing and the leader krantz. And before I fight the Hispanics with them, and we fight the golden gloves. And that was a good idea. Place it was packed, and it was, you know. We get over there, and the guys that fight, and before you know it, they'd advertise it, Coney Island Boxing Club. But that was we were real happy. We got a free advertising, you know. And then we ended up about 10, 11 to go to the Coney Island at hot dogs. That was their pay. And one other one talked about shooting baskets with me and my brother at the you know, the cathedral was the old church. It was to the west, a little small building. They used that for a gymnasium. It was just a little, and we used to shoot them over there. And then one girl I talked to not very long ago, I used to call her she dyed her hair black. She was young, and I called her Boston Blackie. She got a bang. I'm going to talk on the phone, you know, this and that story. I mean, I don't want to talk about bragging. Then we got involved 40, 50 years ago with the Salvation Army, and we fed a lot of people that way. 25 cents, 35 cents. They'd call in 10, 11 o'clock in the evening. We got a family this. So we give them some stew or whatever we had, food, get them on their way. Yeah, I got involved with people that way, and I was ended up, after we got married in 61, a couple of times I was payee. I was the representative payee for a couple of guys that died, and I worked with Hazel Tully at the office there, and quite a deal. Just, you know, it was just time you just got involved, and you got involved. You didn't know you got involved because you like people. I mean, you know, you have to get them on their way. And then at Coney we had that bottle pop, and people would say, save the cap, save the cap. We'd save this for jars or anything. We do it through all that period of time.
Oh yeah, because sometimes companies would reimburse us a
well, maybe somebody was
charity for those bottle caps or something.
Collections, yeah. It was a lot of different things. We'd save this. And then, you know, Saturday was the Farmer's Day. And then we had to get eggs. That's we sold a bunch of eggs. And we trade food for food. You know, nobody really, you know, wasn't there to get rich.
You know, you were talking about the community.
Yeah.
One thing I was kind of interested in asking you about was there a larger Greek community?
Oh yeah, we had a nice, yeah.
And was there a Greek?
Yeah, in 1937, in 1937, John Callis lived a block west of the church, and they went and got the Kearney Greeks from Kearney, and the Kearney Greeks, see that the Orthodox church in Kearney at St. George's, but there was a lot of Syrians, and I can see now these people never told us they didn't want to be part of them. You know what I mean? I don't understand because they were farmers. And these guys all come over, Katrouzos and Poulos and Peterson. And, I mean, I've watched that. I don't say nothing to them. We still keep in contact with that guy over there. Because they're Orthodox, then they...
That's where you go to church now?
Well, if we have to, then he can come over here and give us communion every now and then.
Did you have a church here in town?
Yeah, we have a nice church, and we finally got it sold here.
Where was that at?
10th and Lincoln. Yeah, God, it was a lot
the
of...
one that had the finger pointing towards the sky on the steeple there, was that?
There were two bell towers facing the west. So this church come in and really, we got pictures of it now. They tore everything out of there. The altar was tremendous. They had icons. Omaha bunch. They wanted to build a new church there, so they come out here 6-7 years ago and took all them icons. We had some beautiful, they were worth some big money. And they took all them out. And that ceiling was all painted for the beginning and the end. But them days are gone.
The big temple that was downtown, did they move from there to a different location?
No, it was just, that was the only time they had it. We had Greek school, George Thermopoulos, at the GR Hall, right east of the...
GAR Hall.
Yeah, and we used that place, and they used that school, Catholic school once in a while for Greek deals. I got the Greek picture there. And one of them guys is Pete Peterson. He just died back in Blackstone, you know. Billionaire. He ended up being a billionaire.
The guy who was in Omaha, right?
No, New York. He left, he went with Percy up there in Chicago. He got selected as one going to be a big guy, and he was.
You know, as a young immigrant community in Grand Island, did you feel like the Greeks were accepted and...
No, yeah, you know, that was something else. Boy, in school we were popular. Sam and I, we was, you know, we played a lot of basketball. We'd be close to them. They didn't like it. We'd knock them a little bit. We just, you know, but we had nicknames. You know, in our day, I was raised with the colored folks down Patterson's, and them, they lived down to the east there over the railroad track. And and then if you had names, Greek. If you're German, you're Heine. And if you're color, you're Cooncat. And Mex, you know, you could call each of them names and nobody got mad. Shouldn't talk that way.
These days, aren't they?
Yeah, and so we don't know no colors. Me and Sam and my sister, we didn't know color. We liked them all. We just treat people as people. And we had a good lesson to learn there. I remember one time when I was sitting there, I was young, and that was back in the late 30s there with Dad, and, you know, the guy said, I'll never come back here again. And he said, you served a colored guy. And it kind of upset me, because I'm only here, 16, 17 years old. I heard that. I said, Dad, he said, wait a minute. He'll be back. He'll be back. And Dad didn't answer back. The guy come back. Said, you know, like this next scene. Insurance, them days we had a fan in the second stool, and one of them things, it fell one day, just missed the customer. Well, if it had killed him, well, them days you could buy a guy for $200 or $300. You know what I mean? We never had no insurance. It's old stories, you know, just, yeah, the old Coney Island. But these people come back all the time. They come from all over. It's hard to...
Personally, I remember Coney Island from...
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't come in our place, but we never asked them, why didn't you come in? We just, you know, that was all right. We weren't there to talk about Coney Island, and people just be friends. Then go and join that Plow Dutch. That was a great, you know, 35, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. That was a love place. No one never talked, hey, Greek, and you never said German. It was all love. Having a couple of drinks, you'd buy a round, you know, it's hard to describe, but we got in the lucky era of time. Yeah, Coney Island, God, we got the Greeks.
Going back to your folks, they were born in Greece.
Yeah.
What brought him to the United
Well,
States?
Dad come over, and he was a sheep herder. Him and his brother come over in 1904 or 5.
What part of Greece did they live?
Rumeli, north of Athens, in a sheep herder. And only had second grade education. And well, figured it out then. He washed dishes in New York for a while. Then he got on a train one day and went to Gendy's with the Mexicans went out west, Montana. And then I think he learned them spices and them pods and all that. See, the old days we used them pods, we didn't use powder. You could get them together and put them together pretty good.
Oh, so that helped with the chili.
Yeah. We didn't make big batches like that, but he just give you basic stuff. I remember when he used to get them purple things, they grind them up, but everything else, it was a hell of a deal. Yeah, and then in I forget what year they got married in. He sent over there. They match their pictures. You want to get married, so you wrote to your village. And just like if we want to go to Hawaii and get married, and you with the gal, and you match pictures, and so.
Kind of mail order bride.
Yeah, and she had her brother up in Winnipeg, Themis. So, you know.
And what was your mom's name?
Catherine. We named our Catherine. Ethans.
And what was her last name?
Ethans.
Ethans.
And you know, by the way, 2 years ago we had this eclipse?
Yeah.
Well, Jordan was one of the boys, my first cousin. His boy showed up here. He was going through with that eclipse, and Tom Ethans. And that was the first time we ever talked to anybody. We took a trip back in '70 with a brand new Bonneville. Went to Winnipeg and stayed for a week. My mother-in-law and my sister, and I had quite a Yaya. Yaya's grandma. So I was blessed. Yeah. Then we loved Omaha.
When they first got married, where did they live? Your parents?
Sioux City.
Sioux City, Iowa?
Yeah, that's where Pauline she was born there in 23. See, they always around the people from the same village, people. You know, if you were from Grand Island, we go to Austria, well, it seemed like they'd be together.
How many kids did your parents have, and what were their names?
Well, that was the only one we had, but that died, the baby, Julie. That was when she got that uremic poisoning when she died in 1930 in Chicago.
This was your sibling?
Yeah. Reach over there, around there, and get that envelope. I want to show you. It's all part of the deal. No, around the corner there. No, next one, right there. Isn't there a paper? Yeah, that's it. Go ahead and open it up. As long as you're here, I might as well show you. There we go. There we go.
That's your sister.
That was my mama. There was three of us right there. Did you see it? You see us kids? Here we are.
Oh,
Mom and the baby.
Presented by the papa.
Yeah.
So there were 3 kids.
Yeah.
And what were their names? There was you.
Gus, Sam, and Pauline.
And your sister who died was.
That'd be Julie, and Cat was the mother. But see, them days the Greeks believed. And I see my dad. There's my dad with the black shirt, and his brother, Jim, big guy, and then Rumalanki. This guy was a Greek playboy, and they're all them old friends. But it's quite a picture.
Where was this funeral at?
Chicago. So when Sam got killed in '55, we sent for the bones. After Dad died in '65, we sent for the bones to the old funeral home and brought the bones back here. But there was left over, so we got her name on that out here at the cemetery.
They got her reburied here.
Yeah, a little bit. And the same funeral home was still in operation in Chicago. Yeah. You remember all these things.
I'm glad we're recording this because I can't remember.
Well, no, I'm giving you a lot of stuff here. Well, all of a sudden, one thing turns into the other.
Your brother had a car accident when...
Jeep, he was riding along in a Jeep one night from the club, riding along with Bob Bayham, and he hit the tree at Fonner Park. And he got killed, and he got hit in the temple, and the other guy, nothing happened to him. He was riding in a Jeep. Yeah. Sam was a big guy. You've seen a picture of him. He's bigger than me. Younger, but bigger. Quite a story. Yeah. But we were close-knit, you know.
It was difficult for your family, I'm sure.
Well, my dad moaned. My dad, he got upset about it. Yeah, he told that. People don't want that guy to come to the funeral. But when Bob Bayham, he had a lot of problems. He was in this, everything in the city of Grand Island and all that. And he come to Dad. Dad said, "You killed my son." Oh, God. But, you know, your dad was just a man who speaking, and he didn't add. He just said it, what he had to say to anybody, you know. Your dad was... See, now you talk about the railroad. That's what happened to him, too. We ended up, I got in that market in that Burlington Northern Santa Fe. It was a different name, Burlington Great Northern in the old days, but he always liked that, so he left a few shares to me and more shares to Pauline. Hers is all gone. She's been in that nursing home now for 18 years. She'll be 96. She's pretty incapacitated, but her mind's good. I talked on the phone yesterday.
What nursing home is she in?
Park Place, yeah.
And what happened to your dad then?
Dad, he had Dr. Brew would come to the house. Dr. Brew, remember him? He was the cousin of Robert Taylor, the actor.
Yeah.
He had just 2 or 3 blocks away. You could come over there and see him. And Dad one night took a fall and he kind of bled. And he died 2 weeks a little later. But them days they didn't know how to treat you as good, you know.
What year would have that been?
65. Yeah, in 65. Yeah, he died 10 years after Sam got killed. I got married in 61. That changed my life around.
Yeah. How did you meet your wife?
I met her at a AHEPA convention, American Hellenic Education Progressive Association, AHEPA. That was a national lodge. It's still big time all over the country. And that's...
Just met at a convention then?
Met at a convention. 10 years later we got together, and should did earlier.
10 years later?
Yeah, 51, 61, yeah, but you go once or twice. You go to Oklahoma City or Tulsa, Omaha, Lincoln, Grand Island, had these... It's just... Christina, my wife...
When I talk to newlyweds and doing a video, sometimes I ask them, well, what is it that made you decide this was the person you wanted to spend the rest of your life with?
Yeah.
You know, what
well, I tell you what,
brought you together?
I think we were supposed to be together earlier, myself. Then her cousins from Kearney, the old lady, Mrs. Mitchell, we were at a Greek convention a couple of years late before we got married in 59 or 60. She said, "Hello, Peleki." Yeah. She said, "Well, I want to talk to you." So she was a nice little lady. And we sat around here, this family group, just me and her daughter and a couple of brothers. And she said, "We want you to invite you to join the family." I said, "Pooh." I kind of laughed. That was quite a deal to have somebody ask you to join the family. And I said, we'll see. And we talked a little bit, and there was the humor. Then I was chasing around with the one gal trying to get to know a little bit her in Omaha. And she told me, no, she said, you and me, we're not gonna get together because I think you belong to Christina. It's a friend, you know, these are friends. Them guys, there wasn't no sex and stuff crap, you know, with all. Yeah. Yeah, it's a different world. For me, you know, I was flattered to be asked to join the family. Then John, the boy, he's a big lawyer. He ended up dying here. He owned all them radio stations in Omaha. Stole them up 15 years ago for $26 million. Little guy, he died. It was just all, you know.
Yeah, your family and the restaurant have been featured on TV and in the news.
Oh yeah, God, I got that.
What kind of places have sought you out for stories in the past?
How's that for stories?
Yeah, where have you?
Well, I
where
got
have
that
they done stories
Lance, that guy on 11, that guy does the side stories. He got me once, and Channel 11 got me early a couple of times. And the first one was with Mel Maines and, or was it with Thayer, Jan Thayer? Yeah, it was a big, you know, she died too.
Yeah, Riverside.
Yeah, that's right, old friend. And you know, you didn't think nothing of it because you didn't, you know, we didn't mix with the society. They mixed with us a little bit because, you know, the society, they look at this, you know, little old-fashioned place, wooden booths and stuff, and it didn't bother us any. I mean, because we didn't care. But to them people, they, you know, you wanted it better. And we got to know a lot of families that way, the Kellys and this one and that one and this one and that one. And, you know, we had a lot of poor people around, too. A lot of families, they had big families here. Yeah, and, you know, quite a deal being in Grand Island, Nebraska.
You know, now George is running the restaurant, but
Yeah.
is he doing anything in particular to promote the restaurant on Coney Island at this point?
No, he puts in a few ads once in a while in the paper, but we don't need to even do that. You know, it's like I say, you know.
Reputation at this
But
point.
you know, I tell you, we always give small donations, and we never ask the question. The guy needed 25, 30 bucks for a donation for something that we just give him a check, and we don't ask questions, just because that was part of the deal. You know, you got to know him, and you know, all them servicemen that worked for us, that serviced us, ended up friends for life. What do you mean friends for life? Well, if he was an electrician, painter, plumber, friends for life. You get to know the family, and you paid the bill, and I was kind of upset with the Greeks, some of them guys that had the big bucks. We thought with big bucks, you looked up to them, the way they did their business. Well, I didn't appreciate it. They want to, you know, if you had a bill for $400 or $500, they want to talk you out of it, Jew down. And I didn't agree with that. We didn't know that game, you know. Yeah. Then going to business college after the war, that was good. Me and my brother went, and Dad signed a check for $405. That was lifetime. Sam and I. Then I went for a couple of years, and that really helped a lot. Done. Right across from Bartonback's was a three-story building. And up there they had a big classroom, and they teach you how to add. Dunner and holler, you have, you know, 4 numbers across, have to do it in a half a minute. Bing, 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 you said, then you got to do it. Well, you learn how to add 3 or 4 numbers at once, rapid calculation. And McDonald was a penmanship guy, you know, he could script. And then I'd write like hell now, I can't write. But you had basic stuff. That's all you needed. It's just crazy. Everybody thinks Dad wanted to send us to university to be pharmacists. That would have been a good racket, you know, but we always wanted to be with Dad, you know, to live at home with Dad. He cooked, and we never had a lot of money in our pockets, but every time you needed 5 or 10 or $4 or $5 was a lot of money, you'd write it down on a piece of paper. You had to pay out. Dad would always write the way it sounded, and you know what.
The house where you grew up here in Grand Island, is it still here? Where was it at?
Here, Grand Island?
Yeah.
Or on 317 South Pine. He bought that house in '43. Sink Bile had that, and then some Hispanics bought it from Pauline's estate there about 7, 8 years ago. Now it's black, and they really gutted it and really made it a beautiful home in there. It was 3 bedrooms. Pauline in the front room, me and Sam had the twin, and Dad in the back. It was a good location. Dad has a good garden. Dad could garden. He could leave the Coney Island there and go in the afternoon and get a straw hat on. He always had a good garden.
Yeah, did he grow any of the ingredients for food?
No, just, he'd bring up some stuff, but that was just stuff the neighbor would come over and get it. Yeah, and Dad liked the peppermint, the smell of mint and all that. He'd always bring up flowers in or something. Dad always had the yen for that. My son George, he's got the same taste, gardening. When I built his home, Dad said, "Where's your garden?" I didn't have no garden. So, it's crazy how it goes through. Yeah, Dad. But Dad would invite you to the house. If you got newlywed or something like that, then that was the Greek style, And then he'd have a hell of a meal for you, American meal. He knew how to cook. He could make that cherry glazed garlic on a steak. And Jesus Christ. He knew how to feed you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Dad was always one, he played the game straight. He never talked shortcuts and beating people out of money, and you got to do the right thing. Then later in life we got interested in horse racing. I ended up in the 90s. We had a couple, 3 horses. They were cheap. So Omaha was a popular place to go. But her life's Independence, Missouri. Coming back to that. Harry Truman, her dad knew Harry Truman. Because he had a candy jar. He had a candy jar on the square, and Harry was across the street. Andy had they had a candy jar, homemade candy. Christina's dad and mother. And, he joined the AHEPA club years ago with the Greeks down there. And then in '54, I had a new roadmaster. I drove down there. There was a tea for him at the Milwaukee. I go there, and there he was, and he talked good. Harry talked good. He was talking about preserving all the papers and stuff like that. They have more records to keep up. So the Truman Library, that's a good. Have you ever been down there?
Actually, I have never been. They were closed.
Yeah, but boy, that's library good. But
I've
Harry,
been down there.
Harry was good, and the Greeks liked him. He liked us. I mean, they call him the Greeks because then we were standing around, and someone said, "Excuse me," and it was Harry going to go through. I remember that real well. God.
So yeah. Harry joined the Greek.
The AHEPA. Oh yeah. He had a lot of support with them Greeks down there. Yeah, it was a different world, Just I got so many incidental things to talk about. Once I get on that subject.
I was gonna. One of the things I wanted to ask is, when you were running the Coney, what was your favorite thing about having the restaurant? What did you like the most about it?
Everybody had hard to big with. A guy come in the door there, and like my dad did, this old guy come in with the overalls, and he was from Fairfield or someplace, and the other guy I'm talking about, the other guy, he come in at about 1 o'clock and by himself, you're by yourself, and he'd say, "Hi, P.O." And after a few weeks, I said, "Dad, what's the land in the Greek? Who's this guy?" Well, I said, "What's his first name?" He says, "All I know is that." "You okay, Chris?"
That was the ice maker.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna put that on. And then he said he works at the post office, P.O. He had all them more names, and so we had names. They'd call you this and call you that, and we call them that, and then you get to know them, and quick service. We
It was a social thing for you a lot.
Yeah. The first parts, they wasn't interested in the money. That wasn't the game. They were just surviving. Later, we ended up buying our clothes, them good clothes down the street, $20, $18 suits and overcoats and dresses. She could always, Pauline always get on the Swazers and all them good places. But in Grand Island downtown, actually, what helped was the Jews and the Greeks. The Jews were the guys in the bank. There was three of them. Kaufman had one, and Mo Shapiro, and then Walbach. And then the Jews had them clothing stores and stuff. The Vogue and they had Lady Greenberg. They were good people. Yeah, and the Greeks had about 6 or 7 nice restaurants. The Acropolis with the Block East, a real fancy place. And the Caritas Cafe was good. That Caritas Cafe, if you went to after church on Sunday, you get 3 veggies and a meal for $1.35. And you get soup and salad and dessert. Yeah, oh God, it was something else, you know. But the Yancey was the place. See that Yancey, them people there, Dinsdale, he married the manager of the hotel. Anyhow, she's Dinsdale. Well, she married Roy, and then he got Pinnacle. Now he went all over the place, you know, cattle feeding and all that. That's the uncle of Tom.
From the car dealership.
Yeah, that's quite a deal. Stevens, he was Colonel Stevens. He ran the hotel. The Yancey was the place. That was the elite place, and place to go to the Gold Room, and they knew how to make that one sandwich. What's that good sandwich? It was sauerkraut and Reuben. Oh God, they
So
had.
are you saying that then the restaurant in the Yancey was run by some of the Greeks here in
No,
town?
no, they didn't. No, the Greeks didn't run that one, but they ran a good place. And the Gold Room up there, them guys with white gloves on. And that was the old days. But it was the place. But anyhow, they're building a building right next door. They turned out the old building, that next door building, right next to Coney Island. Going to spend $1 million. They've been in there over a month gutting it. I mean, I know she had some relationship there because she's Gloria. She's still alive. Yeah.
Who's doing the building then next door to you?
Chief Industries. It's $1 million building.
And what are they going to do with it?
Bank.
Oh, they're putting a bank?
Yeah, Pinnacle Bank. Ain't that the shit? Here we are right next door to them. I own the corner building. I'm going to do some of the corner building. The bottom first, then we'll go up there above. We decided to get some money. It just, you know, things just pile on, you know. George, he's doing that up there. He can do what he has to do.
So the Pinnacle Bank, is that going in where Nick's Manhattan
Yeah.
used to be?
Yeah, they're tearing out the second floor too, so they have a big high ceiling. See, Coney Island, that building, we had in party walls. That was the last lot. It was the off lots. 16 across, 60 back. And party walls, in other words, that they put the rafters into them walls. So I own that other one on the west side. I bought that building in '59, and this one here now. Them guys really took care of it. They put a firewall up and everything else. George, it's going to be something else. I guess that front's going to be worth a couple $100,000 just alone with the glass. I don't know. With George, you know,
How
we
do you
know.
think that's going to affect the Coney business?
The parking. They got to have to do some parking down there because Pinnacle's got the name. You got 5 Points, you got the Pinnacle, they go after you. You got all them feedlots and all them banks and, you know, they're a good family.
Somehow do you think they may want the Coney property at some
Oh,
point?
I don't know. I look forward maybe one day across the street they're going to put another parking floor.
Nothing to allow it.
They're going to have to do something because that downtown's attracting everybody now. I remember when they left, they went down out west, and I went to that meeting at the old bank down the corner, not Wells Fargo, but Norwester. And I go down there and I hear all them guys from Grand Island there. They said, well, we're going to go out there. They had the parking meters there, yet nobody would push them. And these guys must have paid them people to keep the parking meters downtown. And then I said, but then one guy got up and I didn't get no response at all. I said, I don't think this plan you got, I don't like it. And nobody looked at me or talked to me ever. It's just, here it is now, later in life, it's all come back. It's all crazy. It's just Masonic temple, and this one, that, all of them buildings, they don't want to put housing. Oh yeah, rehabbing, yeah. They're getting all that TIF money,
The tax increment finance.
Yeah, but then you get some of it back. Some of them guys, they've been doing a little conniving, I think, a little bit of what the hell they put the bid in, and now they're not putting the names down, they're putting just the addresses. That, they have to do something.
So you don't know who's getting the money.
That's right. Well, they got to do it this way. Yeah, and I see where that Hoppy's going to build a big housing deal out there. 150, all them new homes out there. Hoppy from Lincoln, he had a big. And we got Ray Connor's a big man now. He got into that years ago, that free money, and now he's in multi, helping Grand Island.
Then it sounds like you keep up on what's going on around this town.
But always they wanted to screw the city. A lot of people in the old days, they wanted to screw the city. That's one outfit we're talking about. You had the buses there, Jameson, Nick, and Jake Grassnick had the buttercrust baker. They were good. Their dough wasn't all the same. If you had this apple turnovers or we had the other, different dough. The old way. Anyhow, they got caught with the minimum wage, and they bragged about it. And Nick had quite a few employees there at the chef's cafeteria, they call it, in the corner with the parking lot there, across from the post office. And he kind of, I didn't like it, but bragged how much he beat the employees out. He had to settle for a price. You know what I mean? Instead of 500, they got 150. And Jake the same way. And Jake was a great guy for Grand Island. Yeah. A lot of.
It sounds like you don't appreciate the way people do business sometimes, whether.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we don't need to cut them corners and try to be. My son especially, he don't care for that. I bring him up and he says, "Oh, you're talking wrong, Dad." Or, he's always, he's a quiet guy. George, he just ain't much. He likes to do what he wants to do. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a story, that Coney Island story. My God. I go here and go there. George had a write-up in the Los Angeles Times here a year and a half ago. He met some guy one time and he wrote all about Dad got started, and it was in the Times, Los Angeles Times editorial. We got that someplace around. So many different things that happened to us. It just didn't care to brag about it, didn't care to just talk about it, This is part of the deal. Life goes on, The Greeks is a big story here. I was in that nursing home a couple years ago. Tiffany, this lady lived just over a block from Pine Street there on Sycamore. And she looked good. She had a broken shoulder. God, she was a sharp old gal. And she said, them Jews and the Greeks, they really was the mainstay for Grand Island in the old days when the town was 16th, 17th, really made it go. Yeah, God.
How would you like people to remember the Coney? Something in particular that...
Oh, God, you get, and people write you and send you thank you for, God wrote it never long ago, thank you for guiding me and telling me what to do. We look back at the memories. Stories like that, it's all, it's all right. But what's you to tell anybody? They don't believe you anyhow, Salvation Army, and they couldn't pay for 2 years, 25 cents. Then with meals, $200, and then they bought that church up on Sycamore. And I said, I don't want it. Forget it. I don't want no mail. Forget that. You know what I mean? You did all them things. A lot of times you did it and you just did it and shut up and got on your merry way. You had to keep going. Somebody broke a glass or a dish, you don't make a big spurt. You go ahead. You know, you learn all that stuff. Or a big tray of glass, that happened a lot of times. I said, well, don't worry about it. Them glasses are paid for. Them and use, reuse, they're on. You know, it's all how you look at life, you know. You got a good thing going, you better just, you know. I enjoyed the service life. I couldn't get in during the war. I got in 1948, and I had to leave, gone to Fort Riley, Kansas, and my sister had to operate the place, which is tough.
You were in the service for a while?
Yeah, oh yeah. Then I
What period
had
was
a
that?
320th Ordnance Battalion here in Grand Island, and had a meeting every week. And when the hell was that? After I got drafted, I come home, yeah. And that one colonel come over to see my dad, said, make Gus go to the meetings. So I went every week. Then 2 weeks of the summer I went Colorado Springs, Pueblo, the big place in that big arsenal there. And Illinois, back to the east there, Rocky Mountain, well, not Rocky Mountain, but the big arsenal.
In Illinois.
Yeah, then went to Camp McCoy. So I had I'd take $100 along my pocket. I was single, you know, do what I wanted to do, and then them other guys were all married, having a hell of a time figuring it out. But that still took my time away from the Coney, and then Pauline and I said, then they wanted me to sign up again in '53, and I said, no, I can't. I love you guys, but I said I you know, there's got to be somebody to take care of things. It's quite a deal, you know. And then
So this was kind of the reserves that you were in?
yeah, the reserves, yeah, oh yeah, God, yeah. But then when I was in the service, I ended up at Fort Lee, Virginia, and learned to be a interviewer with the Form 20s. And went up to Fort Lee, Virginia, down there. That's quite a territory down there. It's pork barbecue. And then we ended up at Fort Dix, New Jersey. I love that. New York City. I go there on a Saturday night, you know, with your civvies, not your uniform. And it's always, you know, you get that good entertainment, cheap, didn't cost much. Food. Romeo's, I used to go to Romeo's spaghetti. And that was meatballs, but even for 95 cents. Well, there was a show here a year and a half ago I watched, and there were Tony Curtis and Debbie Reynolds in there. And they were at the hotel there. That's when he was in Brooklyn, a musician, and all of a sudden, that big Romeo sign, oh my God. And it brought memories, you know, here. They're gone, no room, but it was just. And my aunt was up in Fort Dix, up at Jersey, up at Passaic. So I go see that with my mother's sister. She worked at Italian loops, sewing loops. So I'd stay with her overnight. Put a mattress on the floor she had for me. But that was good though.
So what years were you in?
That was in 49, 50, 51.
So
Yeah, I
were
like
you in when Korea was still going?
Yeah, we was at down there in Puebla at that bomb disposal. We were blowing them bombs and stuff. And the Korean thing broke, and we thought we'd be called, but we weren't. Just happened that way, you know.
So you were doing ordnance disposal from
Yeah,
World War
yeah.
II.
That's right. And then we thought we'd all be called in by that time. Because I guess we weren't ready to go.
And they weren't able to use that ordnance in Korea. They had to build.
Yeah, we were there blowing them up, them other old stuff we had. Get behind the barrier. It was all right, you know. Just have the luck of the draw, you know. What a life, what a life.
And it sounds like kind of a
And,
dangerous thing
and
to
this
do.
talking about downtown Grand Island, you know where the Wells Fargo was, the downtown, that big building, Kaufman, 5 and 10 cent store, and that was a good joint. Dave Kaufman, he had the thick glasses, and he helped a lot of people, and the Jews to get out of Germany. Yeah, and he was just a regular guy. But Kaufman itself, a nice store they had. You know, the record shop and this and that. Oh yeah, and one story I want to tell you about the Yancey. This chief of police, Watson, remember he quit, you know, he retired 15, 20 years ago. Well, this gal was a gal there from Colorado, a nice lady, and he got a hold of her. She got a hold of him, and he got some records, and he wanted to know who her dad was. And then it went on. Geez, we just went on with that, and then we called California. I had 2 or 3 calls out there to make, and this and that, and then we finally, she showed up and took us out to eat at Dresbach's. And the school out there, where she lived in Colorado, they were up there in that story. It was quite a story for them. And I talked to a lot of people that worked at the Yancey, and they don't remember much. But anyhow, the end of that story was, oh yeah, there was the one family, Thuris family. And Gene was the one we graduated with. Well, there was Lee was the guy who was an atomic submarine commander. When he was a doctor back in Carolina, where the hell? It's a funny story. The guy with the doctor here went there every year for rehearsals. I mean, for pep up. And Thuris was his name, Lee. Well, anyhow, they got together finally, and they thought maybe she was, because they found out later, Thuris, she had Vicky, Jean, and Lee. And they found out later that Mama, she was a little promiscuous. She had 2 kids. That was the lady, what her name was, and her brother Bob. And Bob made so much money, he lived in the islands. He didn't want nothing to do with this because she wasn't after the money. He just wanted to make acquaintances. Well, they all finally got together. She went out to California and seen her mother, and her mother said, I couldn't take care of you. But it was just funny how it all helped. It got involved. It took about 8, 10 months a year, but it's just part of it, you know. Involved with people, you know, you'd be surprised. It's rewarding and everything turns out all right. And sometimes
Did you ever have any association with, remember Bill and Catherine Shaver?
oh, Bill Schaefer, yeah. Bill Schaefer, he was, we know him all. He made a lot of money during the war, but he got to be a playboy a little bit. Because I know I hit that one joint we were talking about Rock Island, and that was a regular customer there, he said. They told me about Bill. But he went to them races in Indianapolis every year. And the one crazy son, what's his name? Did you know Bill? Yeah.
Which son?
That one, he put him in jail because he stole money from him when he had to kill. He had a fancy kill bar across the street from the old post office.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Bill, that one son, he was having a hell of a time.
One of the older or younger son?
No, the younger one. And he ended up working in the alcoholic unit and all that. But
Oh yeah,
he was,
Friendship House.
yeah, but he was Shadyville, Texas. I mean, the kid didn't want to do nothing. You know, he's all right. But I know him, you know, get to know all of them. And the girls, they married, one girl married Roseberry, the fireman. She divorced. She had a kid. You got to know all these people, you know. But you know, years ago we go out to the club at the Proudest, and you say you were going someplace else, and you know, them people thought we were, you know, younger people, 15, 20 years younger, and they'd say, well, how old are you? God, you guys are full of it, you know what I mean? You know, just that was the way it was, you know, you didn't brag about it. And then we still brag about it. Now look at the greasy spoon, the greasy Greeks, and we're still alive. She's 93, I'm 94, sister's 94, 5. you know, it's just kind of a
So how did it make you feel when people referred to your lunch counter as a greasy spoon?
oh, didn't feel bad about it at all. You just take it and figure that was it. They didn't know any better. No, why would you, you know? Never worry about the competition. That California cafe was open 24 hours a day. They had the good food there and all that, but they didn't pay attention to us. We didn't pay attention to them. The Raish family had it then. It was a nice big family. And then it changed and went back. And then Nick got it and he made it. He run it down and he got to be a dump, you know. I mean, he ended up buying hot stuff, hot money, hot guns, hot everything. I said, Nick, cut it out, man. It ain't the way you want to live. But then he died, she died. One kid comes around yet. But just you know, people, I didn't like the way sometimes people made money.
So you remember?
I remember, come here, I can tell you stories too, more or less, about the cats were meowing, you know, into the rock where chicken coops at.
Okay, yeah.
Upstairs, the cat houses.
Yeah, that was upstairs.
The L&M rooms, and the Lorraine and Mort and the clean rooms, and the back over where the Y's now, Scott rooms, Bertha Scott. And Mort, he would come out when we was playing baseball. He kind of helped coach us. Big guy, Mort, and he ended up leaving Grand Island in '51 or so, was it? Yeah. But anyhow, the way the payoff was, you know, a lot of lawyers and stuff. One's a city judge. They had a city judge, and maybe a mayor. They'd get a call. And then he'd make a call. So the city would make theirs and he'd make his. And I found out later because I was right around the people talking. Jesus Christ. You know, it's a different ball game. Them days, that's the way it went. So anyhow, that one time we was out in Colorado Springs. We were at Manitou, that's a different story. Manitou Springs, that right around there. Mort had gone out there and bought a nice motel, him and his wife. Settled down real good. So I said, why don't we stay overnight with him? He said, yeah, it didn't cost much. And the guy, I know this guy. And we went over there. Jesus Christ, they're a sheriff. I said, how in the hell? I told him, you're like a big guy. How in the hell could you be a pimp one day and a big deputy sheriff? Well, he laughed. He was just a big guy. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? You get to know people, you know, you love people. You don't care what the hell they did. Yeah, we weren't customers
So
up
he
there.
went out there. Was he still pimping out there?
No, he wasn't. No, they just went straight. I'd like to know where he buried at. He was still a decent guy. Because he come out and help us with baseball.
How long did the cat house go up there?
Oh, they left in '50. Well, when was it? That one guy was mayor. Them cats were there for years. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're...
We knew that one gal was Clara Swain, and she was colored, and she was selling it 2 years ago, say for 50 cents or $1. And you know,
I wondered what the prices were.
oh, them over there was straight with $3. Then if you had half and half, it was $5. That's what their going prices were. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, we had a lot of fun that way. And it seemed like Grand Island had a lot of killings going on all them years. Somebody, they found them dead, they didn't prosecute them, you know. Too much work. Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
Just like, we weren't any different than any of them, you know.
Do you think the fact that we had an air base out here made a difference?
That air base was a big deal, yeah. See, this community has been really funded. What saved them all these years, the government, money. They had a big, the ordnance plant, big money. Big money out there, airport twice. And it was just a lot of federal money that come in this town. But people, the average guy, don't realize it, but that's what happened. That's what kept us going, I think. The railroad was the greatest thing. That's the best taxpayer we got in Grand Island. Yet they catch hell because of the railroad, you know.
Yeah, so what do you think happened with the veterans home? Why do you think...
God, I don't know. That was a funny deal. I didn't care for it because it was part of our lives, you know. Here they got that big hospital. I had to go and give them about 35, 40. They quit taking care of people. It's a nursing home, isn't it, more or less? I mean, they didn't plan with the shit. Ziola Amel, he did a lot of work out there. He did the stuff with the corner building. And he had always contracts out there. Stuff kept him going all the time. Remodel this, remodel that, you know. Get your price. Nobody to bid against, you know. It's just, now I hope they put them buildings into some use. You know, a school or something. Let's don't just make it a commercial zone. You know, I don't, malls, look what's happened to the malls. They're kind of dead all over the whole country. Yeah, the people are waking up. Isn't the life, you know. Yeah, and they had a lot of industry. The Fairmont Creamery was east there by the train, by the roundhouse, big story building over there. Yeah. I remember, you know, after I got married, they come to me, Patsios, Nick Patsios and Marnie Levinson. They said, Gus, we're going to start this onion ring business, and we need a little support. I said, well, I can't support. I said, I just got through getting married, and I'm saving my money to buy a house, to build a house. And sure enough, that went up big time.
Is that the Ore-Ida plant you're talking about?
Yeah, they built Bill Peterson. That was big time, and I didn't get into it. And Pete Kairos, he died, but Marty Levinson, I remember, I had the babies one Sunday. They come over. That was his first wife, Dorothy, and we sat in the front bedroom because the kids were sleeping, babies were sleeping. I said, Marty, just, you know, you get yourself some money. I mean, you know, because here, this house cost, the building was $23,000 with the lot. See, it's just crazy. I said, buy yourself a home and get something. Dorothy, she was a good poetry girl from Loop City. We had 2 kids, but he didn't do it. He blew his money, then he sold all of his stock to one other guy. Peterson bought it back, another guy, for $36,000. And when they sold that place, it sold for $151 a share.
The onion plant.
Yeah, the Peterson family. That's that Peterson's, the billionaire's Uncle Bill was the big shot here then. He's gone too. A lot of stories. That onion factory. Yeah. Oh, Dick Good was the Chamber of Commerce manager, and what's his name down the street? He died. They got the gas company. Kenny Hillius. Yeah, a lot of good. They all want to be part of it. Then that one actor we got to see after we got married in Dresbach had the 2-story building, Robert Taylor. He was a cousin of Dr. Brew, my dad's doctor. And we went up there, looked at him. Robert Taylor, down there, southeastern part of Nebraska. At that time, he always wanted to be around. And he was in town. They were trying to talk him into money to invest in the cable television. Right where that, you stay with that big, you had a big building there.
The Hinky Dinky was there.
Yeah, Hinky Dinky, good old,
Right
Hinky Dinky was good.
Yeah.
Then, you know, we got acquainted with the Bosman family real well. We did. Yeah, I know them all. Yeah, different directions. Yeah, Fred and
You knew the Ihusens, I suppose.
yeah, Verge, he showed up. Yeah, he's around. His kids come in. He let the one grandson turn out to be big time. The one kid, young, just about 26 now, he got that company going real big time. He took over about 10, 15 years ago. And Bob, he's in a mental institution or someplace. He kind of went out of town. He got sick. And Verge's second wife, or the third wife, this one here. Yeah, she was a nice gal, and Axford married her daughter. You know, the guy, Social Security building guy. Do you know Hollywood? Axford? Yeah.
Actually, Bob, I used him as my age, and I graduated high school with him.
Yeah. Bob is he's a boss now. That Bob, oh, that was the son we're talking about.
His son.
Yeah. You always come around there, and they'd come around there on a Saturday afternoon late. They'd be out raking leaves and stuff. You got to know all these people, what they were doing, you know. And I was hoping for them to make a life, you know. And Verge himself, he married this one gal that she's a sister of that guy that has the credit bureau downtown. What's his name? Mike. Mike. A lot of stories there too. Morledge. Mike Morledge, you know, that big telephone building where all them employees were the credit bureau, more or less.
Oh, is that the Idleman telemarketing? Is that the? used to
I
be
don't
Penny
think, I
store,
don't,
is that-
well, right there, the hotel, big building right across from the old, on 2nd Street there. Anyhow, Verge married Patty, and she'd been through the mill a little bit, and there was some stock involved. So he gave it to his son, and the lawyers, how they worked, Elson and them guys, they worked it out. She got beat out of it, and 3 or 4 years later, he took it back, you know. These guys, they did a lot of crazy things, but they had the power with it. When you had a good lawyer, corporate lawyer, Elson and them guys, that's where they played the game, but that was all right. I didn't never play them games with these guys. They stayed away from them lawyers and stuff. They want to pick your brain, then get your money. Yeah. Can I ask you more questions?
You know what? I'm kind of at the end of the questions she had talked about.
Yeah.
She was particularly interested in your memories of the restaurant, lunch room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
itself.
shouldn't talk about all this other stuff.
Well, you know, it's interesting for me in particular because
Yeah.
I grew up in Grand Island. A lot of the places and names that you're
Yeah.
talking about, these are people and places that I remember from the 50s
Yeah.
and 60s when I was
Yeah,
growing
the
up.
Coney Island was just another place to meet, you know. They come in there and meet and say, how you doing, what's going on, I'm just going through, let you know they were there. Charlie Marvel was his name. He lived over there on East 4th, the right next to the railroad track. If you go east of the GI Body Shop, right around the next, right back on the track. And he used to come in, Charlie, big guy, nice guy. And he'd come in and slam that door. We had them doors to go crazy once in a while. And he showed up here about 3, 4 years ago. I mean, Tiffany from my back. He showed up and he was all crippled up and he still drove his car up here. He died since, Charlie Marble. He was
What
just a
kind
good.
of a business did he run?
Well, he was flying his own airplanes for a while too. He was just a common worker. But see, the Greeks had the dividing north and south, like this said, that railroad track. We had some Indian families on the north side. That the Greeks, they didn't come around much with each other. You know, that stuff was prevalent then. I don't think it's that way now. High Greek, Low Greek, German, Plow Dutch, Liederkranz, you know. But you know, you didn't say nothing. No one didn't talk about it.
So how do you feel about, you know, there's been some immigrant communities that have started up here in Grand Island now, you know. Years ago we had a Laotian community.
Yeah.
Folks came in, and then now there's Sudanese, and of
Oh,
course.
now we got, yeah, now I read our schools got how many, got as many whites as we got Hispanics and Asians. But they, you know, I think you got to get them in line. You got to get everybody educated. Show them you got to pay taxes. Once you do that, you got something going pretty good. You know, But
Takes
they
a
got the,
while for people to get assimilated, though, I think.
yeah, it
sometimes.
took a little time this time. I wish I could have talked to some of them groups and asked them, why don't you guys form your club here? Get yourself some Mexican club or something, and have yourself where you have organization. You get up and you learn how to talk and you know, procedure. You know, I made a motion, you second the motion, and you learn that stuff. But then being honest. But some of these ones have come over first, they wanted to cut corners. Any way they could cut the corners. And it didn't bother us any, because it looked like the big influx of $100 bills and all that stuff come around town. You know, they just, something printing them all the time, weren't they?
Yeah, as a business person, you probably run across.
We never had that bad of luck, knock on wood. Yeah, but you know, they learn a lot of
Did you ever
truth.
have anybody try to just, you know, you tried to stay on the up and up with things, but did you ever have any customers who actually just tried to cheat you? You
Oh yeah.
gave things away a lot.
Oh yeah, but a lot of the time, you know, they wouldn't tell you everything what they had, and some would double talk you. But once you get the double talking, you get to know her. Men, the gals were worse than the men. You know, they get up there and that was, you know, 5 people would show up there and they want 7 or 8 conies, a bowl of chili fries, malt pop, you know. And what the hell, you could remember, gimme, gimme, gimme. Yeah, God, we did. I think we more or less, we got lucky there.
Yeah, so over the years, was this pretty much a family operation, or did you have
Yeah, then
people
when,
that you hired?
well, yeah, my wife,
Have a lot of
when we got married in '61, she came in the business too. See, the first part was my dad and my sister, then my brother, me, and then this last part was George and Christina, the wife, and me. And Christina really picked it up a lot. She modernized this in short hours and turned out just as good. You got to live like the rest of the
So
people.
you never really had much in the way of employees or kids that worked for you?
Oh no, but Dad in the old days would hire anybody just to wash dishes. They were down and out, let them work for 3 or 4 days, $1 a day. I got the book there. And then later now it's all minimum wage, and it's all a different world. He keeps changing the help around, which is typical of our style, which is all right. You know, instead of having the same old ones, but that's what he wanted. Yeah.
So, yeah, just, is there anything in particular that you would like people to know about the restaurant? I think I asked you this, you know, how would you like to have the place remembered?
Oh God,
How would you like to have yourself remembered?
Oh,
what,
yes.
What do you think people should know about you?
I love the people. You know what I mean? That's, well, I can't say much more about them. You know, just, you know. But I wish that I'd have been a mind reader. If I'd been a mind reader, anybody come to that door, I'd know what's on their mind. See, that's the trick. But I don't know. You just keep going and going and going. Yeah.
You got any personal goals? You know, right now, you know.
Well, you know, you got trained on that money. Pardon me. Oh, man, yeah. Echo chamber. How do I sound? Like an echo chamber?
I'll bet you're hearing it, but I'm not.
Oh.
You got a hearing aid in?
No. Just, yeah. It was just that way, you know. It's hard to describe, you know. People. Always. Never wanted to go to jail or nothing like that. Never looked forward to that.
It never happened either.
No, I never did. And then a couple, 3 times I got picked up on the highway going too fast a little bit. $15 in cost, maybe something. But,
Well, I think we'll wrap this up. If you know, maybe we can get together another time.
Yeah.
If something else comes up. But again, today is February 13th, 2019. My name is Larry Molczyk. I grew up here in Grand Island, but I currently live in Aurora, Nebraska. And we've been talking with Gus from the Coney Island Lunch Room and his recollections of the business and the community that he grew up in.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank you too.